Are you one of the millions of borrowers who have been carrying student loan debt and now realizing that drastic measures have been taken for forced repayment? If you're seeing the headlines about wage garnishment, tax refund seizures, or Social Security checks being docked, this episode's for you. I'm taking notes because this is an important issue and we really don't want to, first of all, get caught up in the frenzy, because we're going to talk about some things that you can do to not protect yourself, but to make this, the new realization that repayment has resumed, a little bit easier. Not that you can avoid this, because student loan debt is something you want to avoid at all costs from the onset. That's why we like to tell people you have to have a strategy. Work early with your students, because you don't want, if many of you are adults who have graduated or long since left school and now your students are going into school, you do not want to carry on the tradition of carrying large amounts of student loan debt, because they will come back to bite you later. If you have no other way, I guess that's what you have to do. But here at Black, Brown, and HBCU Bound, we like to enforce that students, or encourage as much as we can, that students first off avoid that process altogether if they can, by amassing as much as they can in scholarships, grants, and gifts, and saving. The student loan debt whole debacle is just something that you don't want to involve yourself in unless you absolutely have to. And this is not having to do with what the government is doing, but if you do find yourself in a position where your student has to borrow money to go to school, if you can pay it off as they go, the better off you guys will be. You want to start your students off in a place where they can have a fighting chance at a healthy financial future. So if you're one of the millions of people carrying student loan debt, this is for you. If you're seeing the headlines, yes, everyone has. It's widespread. There's no getting around it. You have to know that under the new administration, student loan repayment will resume. We had taken a break a little bit because of things going on in the world, like COVID and all of those things. But now the buck stops here. This is when they're saying today's the day, and they're going to get the money no matter how they can. And just so you know, we may say it later on in the video, but you will not be able to bankrupt your way out of this. You will not. There's no way around paying back these loans. Many of you who are caught up in this cycle understand that and know that. But for the new people watching and new people joining, thank you for coming here and listening to us. But understand that there's really no way to. I think there are a few ways people have found, but usually there's no way of getting around repaying these student loans. Whether or not you leave school with a degree or not, you still, once you get these loans, they have to be repaid. Okay, what's happening now? The pause is over. We had a good long break. Hopefully you guys were still making payments. Many people were not, but the pause is over. It's time to pay the piper. What collections will look like this time around, and how you can protect yourself today in terms of not having your paychecks garnished here and such. So from 2020 March until May of 2025, they've been lax on repayment, but 10 million borrowers find themselves at risk now, or in default of having these drastic measures being taken. The return to collections, wage garnishment, where they're going to be able to take up to 15% of disposable income can be taken out without court approval. Tax refund seizures, where borrowers won't see their tax refunds. That is not new. Even before this, I know people I went to school with, and that was many moons ago. A lot of times they'd be waiting on a tax refund and it just wouldn't come. It'd be seized. They'd get a nice little note saying, due to you having these student loans that were not being paid, but they have more technical terms, but not being paid in plain English. Because of that, we're snatching your income tax check. Just keep these things in mind. The government has the ability to do these things, and there's not a lot you can do to stop it. There are some things that we're going to talk about a little bit later in this video, but right now they're taking these measures and they're not going to be compassionate. Social Security offsets, retirees and disabled borrowers are not exempt. A lot of people think they're myths, and some people actually say that they've been able to be successful, especially in the area where disabled people owe money. But from with the things that are out, the readings that are out now and available now, they're saying that people who are disabled are not exempt simply because they're disabled. The impact on borrowers will be financial strain because without warning, your income will be reduced. Whatever you're used to having in your paycheck or at your disposal to pay your bills will be reduced because they're not asking questions. They're just taking action and putting in a position where at any time you can get your paycheck or get your Social Security check or whatever income you have and notice that there's been a reduction. And at that point, you're stuck. You just have to make do with what the new reality might be. It may put you in a position where it's damaging your credit score, which can affect you with future financial endeavors like purchasing a home. These days, your credit score can affect your employment opportunities and also your ability to be a borrower in the future in terms of your standing and your credit score and the things that impact whether or not people want to take a risk on you and give you a decent interest rate. So these things can be impactful negatively for people who find themselves owing student loan debts that haven't been paid. Collection fees and growing balances for missed payments. These are all things that are punitive and can affect you if you're carrying a balance and you're one of those people who are going to be affected by these new measures that are taken. What you can do now, there's loan rehabilitation where you make 9 on-time payments to get out of default, because those are the people who are, it's not just that you have outstanding student loan debt, they're targeting the ones that are in default. So you want to get yourself out of default status by making 9 on-time payments. Apply for an income-driven repayment plan where you can get your payments down to, some people say, as little as a very minimal amount so that they don't come and take a huge amount what you can't afford. You make some type of arrangement where you can tell them you can realistically pay or repay every month and start making those payments so that they don't hit you as hard as they have the ability to hit you. Make some type of arrangement that fits within your budget that you can live with, because again, there's no way around it. You borrowed the money, you signed those papers, you understood what it was at the time, and now they're not playing anymore. They want their money back. You can contact the default resolution group and get back on track before your wages are garnished here. You want to put some plan of action in place. You don't want to sit on this. You don't want to wait on this. You have to take action. Don't ignore this. They will come after whatever source of income you're enjoying right now, and it will not be fun. I guarantee you it will not be fun. Nobody has fun when someone or an entity is allowed to reach into your paycheck and take what it is that they think that they're owed, and they usually are not compassionate for whatever you have going on in your life. They usually take the maximum of what they can to get the money that they're owed. So that's what they do. As a final message, I just want to say, if you're overwhelmed or unsure what to do, you're not alone. There are millions of people in this position, but you have to have a strategy. With everything in life, you've got to have a strategy. You have to put a plan in place so that a plan has to be put in place as with everything. And here we always talk about scholarships, because ultimately that's the way we recommend people getting through school if you can. But so the same way you should have a scholarship strategy plan, you should have a scholarship. You should have a plan in knowing how you're going to be able to avoid them having to punitively take the money back. Get ahead of this if you can. Do a little research. There are ways that you can help yourself. Don't just bury your head in the sand. Don't just not take action. As always, we thank you for tuning in here to Black, Brown, and HBCU Bound. I'm Yvonne Daniels, your host. Please check out our Facebook group that bears the same name, Black, Brown, and HBCU Bound. Please tell a friend. Hit that subscribe button. It doesn't cost you a thing. We're trying to grow. We're trying to let YouTube know that we have information being pushed out to our audience that is beneficial. If you are new here, thank you for tuning in. Hopefully you'll subscribe. And if you're returning, thank you for tuning in as well. And tell a friend. Take care and have a wonderful day. Until next time, bye-bye.